Hi, my name is Gabby and welcome to my channel, Gabby on Paper. In today's video, we are going to go over my first quarter spending and income. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we are looking at the income versus expense report on YNAB. And basically we'll just go line by line and take a look at how much we've spent and just kind of compare it month to month. So let's start with income. So this was looking pretty normal. March is a little higher because it was a 3 paycheck month. Turns out I did have some overtime, so one of my paychecks was a lot higher than the normal, but even so, it's a pretty standard month. I did receive my bonus in March for nearly $3,800 after taxes. And then I received a tax refund in February for $1,002. So the first quarter of the year was a very high income month for me. I made $18,195.61. Of that, $13,405.64 was from my job and the 7 paychecks that I received in that quarter. All right, so looking at expenses, I did book some trips in the first quarter. This one was my trip to Vegas. So I booked a flight to Salt Lake and then from Vegas back to Chicago. And then this is a flight that I booked for a trip in July going to Salt Lake. For home goods, pretty standard. We don't buy a ton of things. Our biggest purchase, one of our biggest purchases that we've ever made is in April, so you'll see that in the next wrap up. But just basic home things like squeegees for the shower, like those are probably Swiffer wet wipes or whatever, and dusters, things like that. On average, I spend $10-13 a month, and the total that I spent in home goods over the quarter was $30.40, which I think is completely reasonable. For my emergency fund, this is not a negative number. That means there was income. I have that money go directly into my emergency fund. I don't even assign it. I don't put it in ready to assign and don't treat it as income. So in interest, I got an average of $53.51 per month. March was higher, and that's because I started taking money out of my checking account and transferred it to my high yield savings. In the event of an emergency, I do have, some $1,000, I don't know, like $3,000-$4,000 in my checking accounts that I could access quickly. And then obviously I have credit cards if I need to. And it only takes a few days usually just one, to transfer money out of my Marcus high yield savings account. But I'm excited to see this number on the higher side along the $70 range. It'll be cool to see it next quarter. In total, I got $160.52 in interest. My Roth IRA, I did $542 a month, except for in March, I added an extra $100 to my Roth IRA, and I sent $1,726 to my 2022 Roth during the first quarter. Rent was pretty standard with the exception of March. I just didn't have to pay rent in April, and I always paid at the end of the previous month. So I didn't have to pay that. We had a promotion when we signed our lease for 1 free month of rent at the end of our lease, and that's when it was. So that was a nice bump along with that higher income. AT&T was pretty standard. ComEd, it did go up a little bit. This was the end of our 6 month, we're on a equal pay thing. So this was the end of the 6 months, and now we're at $58. I checked April's bill and it'll be $58 as well. So I spent $153 on electricity, and then just our yearly renter's insurance fee. So the first quarter of 2023, we spent about $2,900 each on on living expenses. This does include my cell phone bill, and while this part is just mine, it's not my boyfriend's. He pays about the same. He pays about $75 on a plan with his mom, so it's pretty similar. Netflix, $19.99, Apple One, $35.07, and then Hulu, $16.35. Those numbers are low for the quarter because, again, I split that with my boyfriend and my sister, so it's only my third. The Peloton I split with my boyfriend, it's $23.59 a month, so you're looking at $77 for the quarter. YNAB, I paid for the yearly subscription in February. And then Amazon Prime, I split with my I split with my sister and our friend. So that was my third, and we pay it yearly. So that was in March. All right, so food. In January, I did go over my grocery budget, but then I stayed under it. It's typically about $250 a month. So I stayed under the $250 in both February and March, so I decided not to increase it. On average, I spent $222.39 a month, for a total of about $670 for the quarter. It's pretty standard for me, not good, not bad. Dining out, I have felt that we've been, aside from this week, I guess, we've been eating out a little bit less. We used to eat out at least twice per week, and now we're closer to, I would say, 1.5. So my budget is $200 a month, but I've definitely been keeping it under. I am not going to change that amount because if we ever feel like we want to, if we want to go somewhere nicer, I'd like to have that option. In total, for the first quarter, I spent $313.49. Work lunches, it looks like $42.86 on average per month for a total of $128.57. For treats, we're looking at about $33 a month for a total of $99.07 for the first quarter. And then delivery, again, that's something that we do so rarely. As you can see, we got a Lou Malnati's delivered, but we had a $20 gift card, so we only had to pay about $20, and this is my half. And then a cash tip for another delivery that we had. So very, very rare for deliveries. For a total of $14.96 for the quarter. In total, for food, I spend $1,223.27. It's crazy because I don't feel like any of these numbers are crazy high, but then when I look at this total amount that I spent on food in one quarter, that is insane. Jeez. So I'm looking at $5,000 on food alone for the whole year if I keep at this rate. I don't know how I feel about that. There's obviously definitely room to cut down in like dining out, work lunches, and treats, and even honestly groceries. I don't say no to myself really. But I might make an effort. I don't know. We'll see, because that's a lot. Entertainment, we spent a total of $52.60 for the quarter. These are typically like movie rentals and movie snacks, because bigger events, like we went to go see Sarah Silverman, my boyfriend paid for that because that was my birthday activity. But we bought tickets to go see The Little Mermaid, and that would go under live events. So this is just more like little fun things throughout the month. For miscellaneous, I was pretty proud of myself not really like having anything in the miscellaneous category for the first couple of months, but then March was a little bit on the higher side, which is all I've spent in the first quarter. $45.30, that's for my March Madness bracket at work, and then I bought a notebook for work. And then these are just cash gifts that I give to people when they ask me on the train, and if I have cash, a total of $10 for the quarter. Alrighty. Gabby Improvement Fund. All right, so on average, I spent $217.58 for each month, and that's because March was a really like high spend month for that. Even though by April, like if I counted the returns that I got in April, it would decrease significantly. In total, because this was a credit, I had exchanged the coat and got a coat that was about $100 less. And with that credit and then these 2 months of expenses, I spent $652.74. I hope that quarter two's recap will be a lot less with all the returns. For hobbies, barely spent anything, only $1.39, and that's because a lot of my hobby spending I kind of bought for myself as a birthday gift to myself. This was just like the last little bit that I didn't have enough money in my birthday category, which I'm fine with. Now I've built it up a little bit, and I'm actually expecting to spend it in May and June. For self-care, it's just a massage, $72.85 for the quarter, and I'm hoping to be able to include a massage once per quarter in my spending. So, and then again, my birthday budget, this is $240, and that's because that's how much I want for 2024. For 2023, I think I had about $260. So I stayed in budget, which is awesome. That doesn't always happen, but it was just like a lot of small, tiny little purchases, as you can see. And I did go into March just because I had some money left over and I wanted a few things. So for the Gabby Improvement Fund and all my categories have to do with me and buying things for myself and whatever, I spent nearly $1,000 at $987.42. For A&G, so that's my boyfriend and me, and this has categories like his birthday. You would see if I had spent money in the first quarter, our anniversary, and then for like Valentine's Day and small little gifts and stuff like that, that goes under dates and stuff. So for our anniversary, I treated us to a barbecue place near our apartment. Dates and stuff, just as Valentine's gift, and Valentine's stuff is essentially what it was. So I spent a total of $173. I don't see this category group getting a ton of action the rest of the year, a little bit in April, but I bet it will kind of slow down a lot. Then for sinking funds, I spent a total of $204.20, and this was over live events, gifts, and Christmas. So live events, the $45 that we spent in March were for the Little Mermaid Ballet that we'll be seeing actually next week. So that's exciting. And then gifts, these are just gifts that I've purchased. On average, I spend $46.40 a month for a total of $139.20 during the quarter. And this was a gift for my brother's birthday. Let's see. Oh, these are some things I bought for my sister that I shipped to her. And then I treated my friend to Italy, my work friend, and also a cupcake. And then for Christmas, only $20, and that was because I forgot to buy it prior to the year 2022 ending. So that was for just a Secret Santa gift at work. And then hidden categories. What's in here? I was going to go in and open up all the hidden categories, but I decided against it. We're just going to look at the different transactions. So I did accidentally I wasn't on it, and I paid some interest on my credit card for $4.49. And then I was charged for a Pipstick subscription. I had thought I canceled it, but I actually paused it. But as you can see later on, it was refunded. And then Get Around and ExxonMobil is when we were considering getting a dog. We had to rent a car through using Get Around and then get gas to fill that up. So that's what those charges were. So for a total of $33.61 in January, nothing in February, and then in March, it's a $29 fee for my very first credit card that I have that I won't close anytime soon. That's fine. So I spent a total of $62.61 from my hidden categories. And they're hidden just because they're not ones that I would normally have transactions in. If I need to, I'll bring them back. But I don't want to pay interest, so that's going to stay hidden unless I absolutely have to for some reason. But the total expenses for each month: in January, I spent $25.42.50. February, $3,029.82. March, $2,407.16. For an average of about $26.60 per month, and a total of about $79.80 for the quarter. Geez, almost $8,000 for the quarter. That's kind of wild. Why was February so expensive? What's going on? Oh, because I got a massage and it was my birthday. Yeah, that's kind of the two things that bumped it up a little bit, made it more expensive than the other months. And then this month in March, I didn't have to pay rent, so this is a lot, but it's the shopping category that is increasing that. But that's okay, because I know that in April I returned a lot of stuff. So net income. The net income is... So I have my income minus my total expenses brings me to $1,200 saved in January, almost $1,700 in February, about $7,300 in March. For a total net income of the quarter for $10,216, which is really awesome. It's just not having to pay rent one month and then getting that bonus. That was a lot more than I expected. I was literally thinking like between $500 and $1,000 that I'd be getting, but it was a lot more. So I'm very happy about that. I'm curious to see what next year's will be. I don't know if it'd be similar and I just got the full year's bonus, or if it actually was prorated because I started in September, but it's potentially exciting. And then just really fast over here, I just like to see just in this form to see like what percentage of my total spending makes up the different categories. So my bills, which are things like rent, cell phone, utilities, things like that, that is my largest category at 36.3% of the total. And it's good that those necessities are the largest portion and I'm not going crazy in the other ones. Saving and investing is my second largest category, making up nearly 20% of the total. It would almost honestly be more, but I have this as the emergency fund is negative $160.52, and that's because I had income coming into that. That was my interest that was paid out. While as my Roth IRA, I don't track that in YNAB, so it's seen as an expense. Like I spent $1726, but in reality, I sent it to my Roth IRA. So maybe I should start tracking it. I don't know. And then, so after saving and investing, I spent about 15% of my total spending on food. Again, this number seems really high to me. I'm gonna have to do some research and see what other people are spending because it seems really high for one person. Then my personal shopping is about 12.4%. Again, this would be less because I returned so much of it. Focus on now was 5.8% of my total. Subscriptions, about 3.5%. Sinking fund spending was 2.5%. Just the boyfriend category is 2.2%. Variable expenses 1.4%. And hidden categories make up less than 1%. So I'm pretty pleased with, let's see, what percentage is this? So the majority, my top three categories are like basic needs pretty much. I mean, I know I don't need to be eating out and going and ordering food at work or whatever and getting treats, but it's food. And food is a necessity. So between that, saving and investing, and then just like my monthly bills, that makes up 71% of my spending, which I am pretty pleased with the majority of spending, with the exception of food. It's scary to look at it in one. It's almost over $1,200 that I spent on food in only 3 months. That is wild, I think, right? That's a lot. I don't know. That's $407.76 a month on food for one person, because I rarely treat my boyfriend, and if I do, it would go in other categories like anniversary or birthday or whatever. That seems like a lot. Something to keep an eye on, I guess, for future months. I wish I would have done this earlier in April, because it's like mid-April right now, and I think that would have helped me with my spending a bit in the last couple of weeks. It's gone a little out of hand. It's just been so nice here in Chicago, and I just want to be out and eating out and doing stuff and whatever. But thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Bye.